we get on to our other adventures of the week, we should delve into the Pigeonhole. Each week we listen to new music and investigate what's happening out there. And I drove all the way back to Bristol to spend some time with my father. It was his birthday, and I drove all the way back again. And the whole way down and back, I was listening to new music from a big carrier bag of stuff I'd gleaned from the Pigeonhole. And I must have dug out about 2 tracks worth listening to, which is the, I'm afraid to say, the state of contemporary new music. Oh, new music there, slammed by Merchant. And first up is a forthcoming single from Duke Special. It features Neil Hannon of the Divine Comedy and Romeo Stoddart. Is it Stoddart? Stoddart from the Magic Numbers. And it's called Our Love Goes Deeper Than This. Released on the 1st of October, that's Duke Special and Our Love Goes Deeper Than This. And it strikes me as the sort of song which will divide people right down the middle. Rufus, are you on one side of the fence?
I loved it. I really liked it. I love Neil Hannon's voice. And do you know what it reminded me of? Do you remember the wonderful moment of Magnolia where they all sing the Amy Mann song Save Me? It reminded me of that slightly, and a kind of English version of that. And instead of the camera panning along a kind of lonely Tom Cruise in a car pouring with rain, or Julianne Moore sobbing, I thought of maybe Celia Imrie.
Sure.
Or Jim Broadbent.
Nice. Yes.
Something like that, you know, doing something sad, maybe Jim Broadbent planing away at the edge of a door or something, and then just mouthing the words.
Yeah.
It goes deeper than
that
this
would be
to the
great.
camera.
Because it does have a sort of musical quality.
It does.
There was music hall and musical.
Definitely.
Quality.
Yeah.
And I know you're always a fan of a bit of a knees up.
I am.
You know?
Yeah.
Being super posh. I wouldn't have thought it would have been the sort of thing that you like, Sammy, and yet, strangely, I suspect it is.
Well,
that doesn't make any sense.
I may have professed my love for the Duke before, but it is massive and never-ending. I treated myself to that song by downloading it on iTunes on Monday.
There are other MP3 formats available as well. Do not feel you have to go to iTunes.
I had to tidy my room. It was horrible, but I had to do it, and I treated myself to that song, and I played it 3 times in a row, and I now know all the words. I love it. The scenescape he creates with his kind of orchestral, beautiful, like music hall archaic touch, it's just, I think he's just brilliant, and there's nothing like him at the minute. He is fantastic.
Tony, you, I imagine, are endlessly seeking out new music.
Yes.
In an effort to keep in touch with the youth.
Yes, a fruitless, never-ending search. No, I know nothing about music. You know.
Sure. Well, thanks for coming.
I like music, but I like lots of things. I've taken everything from the Smiths to Morrissey, and and not much in between. But I like the Divine Comedy. I like Neil Hannon.
If you were to
so much orchestration, though.
Really,
I don't like all that kind of music hall thing where they throw in trumpets. It's a bit
But you're a fan of Morrissey. Much
I'm
of
a man of
solo.
many contradictions.
Clearly.
No, I loved it.
If you were perhaps overseeing a school musical, I can imagine that factoring in. During a warm-up exercise.
I don't think it'll go down well.
No?
No.
Thanks very much indeed. Do you know what you should do? You should do a modern updating of West Side Story. Make it like the Bloods and the Crips.
Yeah.
You know, and have flick knives.
Because West Side Story wasn't based on anything.
No,
at all.
Exactly. You could just, why not?
An original work.
Yeah.
There. So do update it.
Just update it.
Yeah, update it again.
It could be Arsenal fans versus Tottenham fans, couldn't it? In Tottenham.
I like it.
Yeah,
It
the
could be
Reds
brilliant.
versus the Blues. I'll get some ideas down.
Please,
Yeah.
thanks very much. Well, while you're noting down some great ideas there, why not listen to this? It's the track that has been put out by Hot Chip while they work on their new album, and it was a very limited 12-inch release, so I don't know if you'll be able to dig up a copy. Still, I imagine they've all been snapped up by record collectors. But anyway, I think it's dynamite, and it can be a little intense for those that are not used to this kind of sound, but stick with it, because I think it's dynamite. Shake a fist. Shake a fist from Hot Chip. I do hope that Prince Andrew listens to this show. I would be loving that if I know Andy.
Yeah.
And I think I probably do. He would be rocking round to that, perhaps doing the hoovering. Before ironing some shirts for tomorrow, for some engagements. Perhaps he opens a cancer ward or something. Good luck to him. Sammy, I imagine that you spent that 79p on the Duke Special. Is there going to be another 79p spent on that?
I swear, if there wasn't this manly void of Tony between us, I'd reach over and kiss you.
Would
That's
you?
one of the best songs I've ever heard. If that was on in a club and it had just come on, I'd have been insulting the DJ asking
Wouldn't it
what
be
that
amazing
was.
in a club?
Oh, that was so good. I actually pulled faces. It really was.
You pulled
brilliant.
faces?
Yes, Jude bore witness to the faces.
Is that how you register your love for music now?
Yes, it's just pure facial.
Gurning.
Yes.
Okay, and
I gurn when I dance, and it's a really terrible thing because all my friends are A, beautiful, and B, brilliant dancers, and I pull hideous faces when I dance. I bite my lip and I push my top lip out like a duck bill.
right, classy.
And that was really forcing the top lip out there somewhat. I mean, Rufus nearly had an eye out.
Sure. and you think that would go down well in the clubs with the youths?
I honestly wanted to cry. It was so good. I think in fact I'm going to try and make played somewhere soon, because I think everyone would just go wild for it. Brilliant. Round of applause, Hot Chip.
Yes, well indeed. And so obviously we've heard from Sammy there, her northern clubs. I imagine you're perhaps in a gentleman's club, Rufus, of a Sunday evening.
I can
just sipping on some port. Could you get the old boys dancing to that one?
I can imagine reaching over lazily to the bell pull behind my back while moving, taking a chess move against a retired colonel, and then suddenly that comes out of the speakers either side of my buttoned leather armchair. That was amazing. My legs were jiggling. My
Your
teeth
legs were jiggling.
Yeah, my
well,
legs jiggled a little bit.
That is saying something.
And then Sammy and I we were pulling the same face at one stage as well. I do more of an overbite. My teeth appear as well, but it was definitely 90% of dancing's in the face. We all know that.
I used to be an enthusiastic dancer. Caught myself in a full-length mirror. I've stopped dancing.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, I've put an end to it. Full stop. That's it. Drawn a line under it. Never going to happen again. I know.
Yeah.
You've seen me dance. You know I'm a classic mover.
Yeah.
Tony, you've got to try and appeal to the youths in your school. They are running riot as we speak. Would that appeal to them?
I'd put that on. Yeah. That would, make them lay down the knives.
Just for a second.
And just for a second, and pick up each other.
Sure.
Move each other around like they do in dancing. Because people still do that. Pick each other up, throw them over their heads, through the legs.
Are you from the 1920s? What about yourself? Would you be grooving to that?
Yeah, actually, that was really good. If that's new music, give me a piece.
Sure. Serve me a slice of new music. That's what it sounds like. All right, we need to play a little trail, don't we? No, we're not going to bother with it.
We will.
Okay. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, and we're delving into the Pigeonhole. We've already heard from the Duke Special and from Hot Chip. If you have thoughts on either of those, then get in touch. Was it 64046? 64046. I remember they used to write that down for me. No more. And was it stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk? Get in touch, give us your thoughts on both those tunes. Okay, so next up, Ian Brown has a new album out. The new album is out on the 24th of September, and the first single features Sinead O'Connor on backing vocals, and it's called Illegal Attacks. I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. Okay, now, I don't want to offer an opinion of this track, because I like to sit on the fence with these things and let you guys decide. I will just mention that the Sunday Times gives a review of the new Ian Brown album, and it says here, "Finally, after years of searching, I found it. The worst album ever made." Now, I'm not one to have a go at someone else's misfortune. I'm a man who's traded on a modicum of talent for a long time, and I can't help but worry that perhaps Ian Brown's doing the same. I mean, okay, I'm going to come off the fence there. I thought that was atrocious. I think it's absolutely shocking. The idea, when rock stars such as Ian Brown get political, and then in one song can name-check Afghanistan, planes over Palestine,
rhyming,
the Taliban in Texas driving Lexus. Listen, I've said my piece. Rufus?
Yeah.
You're a man with a political conscience.
Yeah, and also, I don't know, the whole issues of troops in Iraq and Afghanistan is very, very serious, and I'm not sure if Ian's the right man to tackle it at all.
Look, someone's got to say
Someone's got to, and I'm glad, and I like it when musicians get... I had a big argument with my dad a few weeks ago about the involvement of musicians in politics. I think Bob Geldof and all the guys in 1985 allied the way that young people think about politics in a very interesting way. They kind of... There was a big social revolution going on there. But this isn't not part of that legacy.
Well, I worry that this is the same sort of protest as those teenagers you see wearing T-shirts which have a picture of Tony Blair and the word Blair underneath instead of Blair. I fear that it's that same kind of mentality, or the guy I saw with the T-shirt that had a picture of Hitler and a picture of George Bush. Same S, different decade.
Yeah.
Really? Is it that clear cut?
Yeah.
But
maybe on the back it had a kind of complex essay
exactly,
explaining.
If you're lucky enough to get caught behind him on a tube and you query some of his political beliefs, look, just read the back, mate.
Interesting.
Well, I always remember seeing a girl on the tube, and she had a bag, a rucksack, and it had a kind of severed Barbie doll's head hanging from a chain, like a little sort of noose chain, and it had kind of badges on it and sort of scrawled in Tipp-Ex of kind of troops out, and all this sort of stuff, and it was really elaborate. And I wanted to tap her on the shoulder and say, you know what, you should spend less time on the bag, more time perhaps voting, going online, petitioning people. And there is that terrible worry that, again, is music, is rock and roll, is youth, and they're the people to... I mean, it's nice to see people politicised, don't get me wrong.
This is it.
But there are channels, if you want to affect change. Sammy, your youth, I imagine you want troops out, just like Ian. Did the song relate... Is it going to be a rallying call for you and your friends?
That's a call arms for me. That's all it took.
Yeah.
Ian Brown and some dodgy rhyming. That was like a joke. If I'd have heard that on the radio, the Ian Brown and Sinead O'Connor, I thought they were doing it to take the mick.
Yeah.
That was literally unreal. That I'm quite taken aback with the rhyming of Texas and Lexus, because everyone knows the plural's Lexi. Come on, life.
Tony, once again, we already know you, as you said earlier, you're on the chalk face. You know that kids are politicised out there. Is Ian Brown the man to bring them together?
They need to hear this message.
Sure.
Obviously, he's a modern day kind of Pied Piper.
Of course.
He should be there leading the troops out. I mean, I'm just amazed the scales have fallen from my eyes. I mean, this is this highly controversial and kind of unpopular view that somehow the war in Iraq is a bad thing. Finally, someone has got the guts
to come out and say it
against what everyone else is saying and say no.
Over some sort of trip-hop beats?
No more.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to the beats.
Of course, just the message.
It's the message.
Yeah.
The message.
Ian Brown, the new Dylan? I think we're all in agreement.
I think he's the old Dylan.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Alright, so we got some, we got a talk, we got the, I suppose one of the people that was voicing similar thoughts back in the late 70s, early 80s. It's the Jam. Come on, Jude, you're not as crazy as that. You have to remember to press the buttons, but I am too lazy to do it myself. From 1978's All Mod Cons, English Rose from the Jam, and I want to segue straight from that into a tune from Bob Zabor, who's basically a one-man band, named a Jawbone. Who I believe was, oh crumbs, you've turned in...
I've got to go to the dental hospital tomorrow because my jawbone's breaking and I'm really, really freaked out about it, and that's put me on edge. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, that's utter coincidence. I didn't have any prior knowledge of your crazy jawbone antics.
Literally terrified. I actually want to cry all of the time.
Your jawbone's falling apart?
My wisdom tooth's growing in sideways and back up and it's breaking
into
the
your brain? Is that why you talk to tortoises and stuff?
Yes.
Tortoise, what's the plural of...
Tortoises.
Tortoises.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a massive dental operation?
Maybe. I'll find out tomorrow in my 3-hour-long assessment. But literally, my heart's actually racing now thinking about it. I've got to have the car MOT'd and then my face inspected. But then I'm going to see Alabama 3, so the day's going to pick up a little.
It's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be a rollercoaster ride.
It is actually going now. I don't want to think about it. I'm going to insist I can wear my own iPod and then... Or other MP3 players are available.
Yes.
And just not think about someone else's hands in my mouth.
So, take a chill pill.
Oh, I'm going to have to. I'm scared.
Just chill out, relax, and I'm not going to even say jawbone again because I know it's going to freak you out. But this guy was championed by John Peel some moons ago, and here's a track, Chug-a-Lug. Jawbone, Chug-a-Lug. You saw them live, didn't you, crazy mad woman?
Yes.
And is he literally one-man man? Does he have a kind of...
behind the drums and playing the
mouth organ
and singing at the same time.
That's classy.
He's incredible.
I'd like to see him live. Obviously, it's my job to bring you new music, old music you may have overlooked. It's also you, the listener's task. You have been charged with introducing music to me that I may be unfamiliar with. Someone who has got in touch, and we thank her for it. Helen from Oxfordshire. Are you there, Helen?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
And who are you? Explain yourself.
Explain myself. What's to say, really? I work as an editor.
Okay.
Freelance from home for companies in London.
And what kind of editing do you do?
Edit books mainly.
Right. Any kind of book? Could I send you a book? Could you edit it for me? Or is it specific kinds of books?
Yeah, I do sort of all sorts. Fiction mainly, but also like law books and things like that.
Wow, so you've got to be quite the brain. You've got to understand what's going on, or do you just look out for typographical errors?
To sort of all the law stuff.
Sure.
But just the sort of typographical stuff.
Have you ever edited a pop-up book?
No, I haven't.
And I guess you're looking out there for whether it pops or not. If it doesn't pop up, rubbish.
Right. I don't know if that would be my job.
Are they still? Do you think are they still out there, pop-up books, or are they sort of just too old hat now? The kids now just throw them away.
Alive and kicking.
Are they still alive and kicking?
Oh yes.
That's good to know.
I don't know. Everything. There's a lot of electronic books now.
Oh right, where you can press something and it moves or whatnot.
Yeah, sort of interactive stuff.
Sure. If you had to name a book, if you had to recommend a book to me, I used to be a reader at university. I've been very slack of late.
Yeah.
What would you recommend to me?